Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things dirty through a common sense lens. And you know, there's probably a lot of people out there, especially a lot of the normies and the kind of average folks out there who just know a fair bit about this kind of Fantastic Four and comics in general. And they've probably seen the movies, maybe watched a couple of the television shows, but they've really dug deep into the comics, right, boys and girls? And one of the latest about that, of course, is none other than the Fantastic Four movie coming out there, because we've got Julia Garner has now been cast as a female version of Silver Surfer out there. And ladies and gentlemen, the funniest part about this is probably just like a majority of normie fans out there, she had no idea that there was ever a female version of the Silver Surfer. Because unless you were a hardcore comic book nerd out there, or somebody who, as soon as the rumor mill first announced all of this, decided to get on your Wikipedia page out there, you would have not known that there is a very small story and some offshoot comics out there where there is indeed a female Silver Surfer, and it is this particular character. But for the majority of the history of this character and throughout all of for the majority of the Fantastic Four comics out there, Silver Surfer has always been Norrin Rad, an actual dude. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, after some of the absolutely horrifying pictures we've got of the new Silver Surfer in that trailer, well, I think everybody probably would have been perfectly okay with, as she said it herself, isn't the Silver Surfer a man? Yeah, well, he probably should have stayed that way as well. Because as you can see over here from Variety, Julia Garner recalls gender swap Fantastic Four offer. Wait, isn't the Silver Surfer a man? Well, I'll play anything. And honestly, you can't really hate on the girl for that. It's not her decision to make any of these kind of changes. It's not her decision to make these gender swaps. She's just a Hollywood actress out there, a working girl trying to get a paycheck. And you know what? I can respect that aspect of it. But this isn't the only kind of insane things that were talked about in this article as well. Some of the talking points that were also talked about inside between this director and this actress author here were also a bunch of communism and things like that. So needless to say, boys and girls, I think we have a pretty idea that a firm bit of the spirit of the age is going to be solidified inside of this movie. And even the Fantastic Four actress herself says that yes, indeed, Silver Surfer is absolutely a man, which is why this has been such a big issue for so many fans out there that they're doing this. And of course, just another one of the many reasons Fantastic Four will turn out to be a disastrous dumpster fire at the box office for Marvel. And hey, guess what? They've done it to themselves. So we're going to check out this article from Variety.com, getting all the juicy details of exactly what she said, and of course, remind everybody of some of those wonderful, not so wonderful versions of the Silver Surfer we will be getting in the Fantastic Four movie. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,800. We are on our way to 1,900, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you agree with her that you do believe that Silver Surfer is a man as well, and you can't believe that Disney is actually going to do this kind of dumb nonsense, especially with the Fantastic Four's first outing? Do you think Disney will be able to save this in any way, shape, or form? Do you have a problem with the gender swapped Silver Surfer? Let us know think about all that in the comment section down below. And if you can support the channel and become a member and get your name at the end credits of every single one of these videos and the live streams, please check out the links in the description down below. All right, from Variety.com and our dear sweet Jordan Moreau. And of course, she is a very pretty girl. She's a little on the petite side for me, but I mean, I ain't gonna kick her out of bed for eating crackers. Like, let's be completely honest. She's a gorgeous girl, but man, this on a skin tight suit for a girl like this, I mean, compare this to the old 2000s version of Fantastic Four and how much better this looked compared to what you see. And you know what? We'll even look it up here. We'll even look it up here just for you live, just so we can do a real quick little comparison to this Silver Surfer, yada, 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 from the movie from back in the day. We'll just do it live because why not, boys and girls? This is what we had back in the day, right? In the 2000s movie. And now this is what we've got. I mean, maybe there'll be some better images when the actual movie comes on and hit the big screen, but honestly, this just doesn't look good at all. And once again, what's Hollywood's obsession when you're going to do a skin-tight outfit and a skin-tight character and they end up looking like 12-year-old boys? It's weird. It's weird. Ozark Emmy winner Julia Garner is opening up about her introduction into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this summer's Fantastic Four First Steps, in which she plays the chrome surfboarding Silver Surfer, the gender-swapped Silver Surfer, you know, the one from the obscure comics. However, the role is different from the comic character previously seen in 2007's Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. In that, she plays the female version Shaw Ball. Yeah, the female version that only showed up in a little bit, which is why she doesn't know about this character. Garner spoke to Entertainment Weekly about her character, which finally appeared in the new Fantastic Four trailer that dropped last week. She recalled meeting director Matt Shackham to talk about the movie at a restaurant in Burbank, but the conversation was so wide-ranging that she thought she'd been passed over for the job. She said, "I was confused because I was like, wait, isn't the Silver Surfer a man? Yes! Yes, he is, and has been throughout the majority of his comic book history, boys and girls. Like, it's not even crazy to think about in any way, shape, or form. This is exactly the character that everybody has known for almost 70 years of history inside the comic book. So yes, she's absolutely right. Silver Surfer is a dude, but I digress. Okay, we'll all play anything. Don't blame her. Want to get paid? Not your problem. You're not the one in creative control. You're just literally the person who speaks other words and speaks other people's ideas and stories onto the big screen. So I don't blame you for that. She says, I was a very big fan of Matt's, so there was already in mind, like, I should probably meet with Matt Shackham because he's a very smart director and I love his work. And then he's explaining to me that it's actually Shala Ball and that whole thing. He wasn't telling me the whole bunch about the movie, but we were all talking about the 1960s. Now, initially I thought, oh, cool, maybe they're talking about 1960s comic. But of course, that would make no sense whatsoever with the gender-swapped Silver Surfer. And considering the era of comics that they've done this stuff in the past, unless it's some crazy Elseworld story, boys and girls, we all know why they've done this. It's agenda-driven storytelling, identity politics, all of that kind of stuff, in case you're new here, and that's perfectly okay. Our meeting went all over the place, and I thought I wasn't actually going to get the part because the meeting was all over the place. I was like, I don't know how he will hire me for this job. I mean, we were talking about communism and brutalist architecture. Don't know if the conversation was good or bad or not, but the fact that they know about brutalist architecture and a lot of that stuff being involved in communism is actually kind of wild to think about. But needless to say, these are the kind of conversations that they were having while discussing the Silver Surfer and her getting cast as a gender-swapped Silver Surfer. Not about origins of the comics, not talking about source material, but we were all over the place talking about communism and brutalist architecture. Yeah, isn't that exactly about the behind-the-scenes conversations you want to hear about wonderful characters that you've invested years and bunches of money in your entire life? Yeah, me neither. I didn't think so. And then they were like, you got it. I was like, wait, what? So I think we vibed, but you never know. Basically, it was what I'm saying. Well, it definitely sounds like they vibed, especially if they were to talk about common context like that. So here you go. Like the Marvel Comics, Shala Ball is the Herald of Galactus, a planet-devouring behemoth, right, who is voiced by Ralph Ineson in the movie. She's covered from head to toe in shiny silver and flies around on a cosmic surfboard, which means Garner had to do motion capture the first time in her career. So once again, the female Silver Surfer that is not the character that everybody knows, that she admits she doesn't know. This isn't the kind of thing that you're going to out there. It's just not something that's going to go over very well with the fans at all, and we already know that. That was the first time doing that technology. That's really cool. At least there's this. She did a lot of yoga to practice all of her surfboarding. I wish it was as cinematic as it is in everybody's mind. Think the Rocky training. I wish I could say that. I just did my basic exercising, some Pilates, yoga, and all of that other kind of stuff out there. And so, yeah, it's one of them things. She says she hasn't seen her final look from the movie. Garner teased the Silver Surfer will please Marvel fans and be distinct from past versions due to the MCU's retro-futuristic tone. I thought it was so cool. I kind of oddly look like, well, I don't want to say fashion-y, but you could totally see it. I felt like a runway, which is something I always notice is the best. The costume has been aesthetically pleasing to the eye, especially with Marvel. And yeah, boys and girls, I don't know if that's really going to be the case from what we've seen, especially considering what we got back in the day. So, she might end up being wrong on that one. But I hope, like I said, hopefully this means it looks better in the movie. But CGI is a problem that Marvel has been plagued with for quite a while over the last few years, and it just doesn't go over very well at all. I mean, She-Hulk, you can talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. There's been a lot of issues with this kind of stuff, of course. At the end of the day, it's a comic book. I'm excited to see it. I really haven't seen anything besides the trailer and some mock-up scenes. So it's going to be interesting. And it certainly is, because even her, just like a general audience, because that's what she is. She's a normie about this kind of stuff, right? She's a general audience. She's the average person out there who has, maybe watched some of the cartoons, maybe watched the movie, maybe knows some general stuff just because of, maybe picked up a comic at one point, but probably just knew about it from their friends and all that kind of stuff. And that's the biggest problem with this. This is not the Silver Surfer version that is going to resonate with the general audience, because her, as not a hardcore fan or a nerd of any of this kind of stuff in any way, shape, or form, even she recognizes this as soon as it was asked of her. But hey, she needs a paycheck, and honestly, I can't blame her. But I just hope her paycheck isn't based on royalties for this movie in any way, shape, or form, because projections are already looking really, really bad for the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, boys and girls. Gender swapping, something that we knew, as this is why we listen to the rumor mill as well, because we knew about this for probably 2 years. We had very reliable sources that had been accurate in the past. We knew that this is what they were going to do. And we knew if this was the case, this thing was going to end up being hot garbage, because if they're going to gender swap Silver Surfer, which, why do you care so much? Why do you have to force this kind of stuff instead of sticking with the character that everybody's known and loved for literal decades? But literally, we knew what this was going to happen, because this is why we talk about red flags, right? You talk about red flags, that's what these rumor mills are, and then when it gets confirmed, which is what we had like basically a year ago, that she indeed was going to play a female Silver Surfer out there, well, that's pretty much all you need to know, especially when it comes to Disney, Marvel, boys and girls. And then, of course, the trailer and all of the talking down to Reed Richards and the way he just was made to look like a beta male cuck soy boy, which is exactly what Pedro Pascal is. So, of course, that all just confirmed it. This is the reason why we talk about this stuff, because I want you to know as soon as you possibly can exactly what to expect on this kind of stuff. And you know what? I'd love for this stuff to be wrong. I would love for this movie to be absolutely fantastic and knock it out of the park, and all of us be wrong, and all of the fans absolutely love it and enjoy it. But at the end of the day, we know why Disney Marvel does stuff like this. We've known why they've done it in the past, and we know why they will continue to do it in the future. It is for representation and representation purposes only, and will continue to drive their stories into the ground. Fantastic Four is going to flop, because guess what? Just like the actress Garner here admitted the fact that she didn't thought the Fantastic Four's Silver Surfer was a man, is guess what? The exact same things that are going to have audiences scratching their head when they walk out of this movie, even if they choose to actually walk into it. Because Marvel has burned their fans way too many times, and topping it all off with a Fantastic Four's female Silver Surfer in your first entry to the first family end of the movie, well, it might not end up as your biggest flop over the last few years, but Disney, Marvel, you are going to lose money, and a gender swap Silver Surfer is just one of the many reasons why. After all, you've done it to yourself, and it's exactly what you deserve.